Sean, I've been waiting for you.
The red button has been pressed.
Yep, I took care of it.
We're live.
I'm just like here chilling. It's Friday afternoon. It's been a busy week.
It has
We
been.
made a lot of stuff happen, and now we're gonna chill for 15, 20 minutes talking about what? What do you want to talk about?
Something random and unscripted.
All right. So you know what? I'm here drinking some cold brew coffee, and it
Okay.
makes me wonder. Would I like to go visit Italy? Have I
Would you?
ever been there?
Have you been before?
Oh, no. Wait. That should have been the question for you. I kind of made a mistake. So I love Italy, but I am, I have to say that because I was born there. But
Yep.
I'm wondering if, as many times happen when I tell people that I'm from Florence, Italy, they're like, "Oh my God, Italy is so cool. I want to go there." And I said, because you never leave there. When you go
Right.
on vacation, everything is cool,
Everything is great when you're on vacation.
right? Everything is great when you're on vacation. And so I want to ask you that. Have you ever been in Italy?
I think I think I've spent a couple minutes there at some point. No,
Couple
I've
of
been
minutes.
been many times. Obviously, you know the answer, but no, I've been many times for conferences, for fun. Rome, Milan, Venice,
That doesn't
Florence.
count. That's shit.
I know Rome doesn't count, right? It's like
You're
saying you
right.
went to France, then you went to Paris.
Right.
But no, I think what
Romans are
what
hating me right now. Francesco Cipollone, I'm sorry. I didn't
Francesco,
mean it.
yes, Frankie, sorry man, but I didn't say it. No, but
I
I
did.
think there's one thing about if you're going for a conference, it's another if you're going on vacation. Like I've been to Milan during Fashion Week, I've been to Venice during the festival, and
Since
fun
you've
times.
always in the wrong time.
I know it's when everybody else is there. Now, this other story, there was a festival as well, the Festival of Roses, which that was really cool, and it was busy. But this particular time, you and I were in London,
Mm-hmm.
and I popped over to Dublin, and then from there went to actually I made a quick stop in Brittany in France to visit a good friend of mine, and then off to Lisbon I went for a conference. I thought Lisbon, I'm very close to Italy.
You
What's
sounds like my mom and my dad. Oh, if you're in London, you're
That's right.
right there.
It's
Just
right
jump on the
there.
plane
Just
and
hop
come
on the
to
plane.
Florence. Yeah, there you go. That's the way
Well,
of
the
thinking.
the best direct flight into Italy from Lisbon is Pisa. So I thought, I've not been to Pisa, so I'll go to Pisa and what's close to Pisa? Where you're born, where your parents
Go
are,
figure.
and I'm telling you, man, I your father wasn't able to be there, but your mother was an amazing host and some of the best meals I've ever had. And some actually had a chance to practice, pretend I was learning Italian. She's very, very patient, but it was a great time uh, spending time with your mother and from your house there and just outside of Florence. I got to experience some of the uh, the history and the museums and the whole vibe of the city of Florence. It was pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Well, it's we've been talking about that for a very long time, which is we gotta go to Florence together so I can show you
I
around.
know. So at
And
some
then
point,
it didn't work out. I had to come back to the U.S. and you went. And honestly, I'm really glad that you did. But the reason why in this random and unscripted, which I haven't even introduced this show, because at this point we just show up and just talk about our own
we're,
business, I
we're
guess. And
here.
if people if people want to hear, they can. People may be surprised that we're not actually talking about technology, cybersecurity, but we're talking about society because we're talking about traveling, we're talking about your experience to go in Italy, and that's why I said it's Friday. It doesn't always have to be about business. It is about business most of the time, or about the things that we discuss on our show, and this is just chilling, ending the week, and I hope it's going to become more and more of a tradition because I'm looking forward to it. So, this said, I said, you went there and you had a goal, like you had a reason, beside the fact that you like to travel and you have friends all over the world, which
Right.
is very Sean of you. You went there because there is one side of your family that has connection there, and I want to hear that story. That's what these 15, 20 minutes are about. I want to hear your story going back and look at that
Mm.
Sean that is, Italian without speaking Italian. Which one day I'll get you there, but
We will. It'll
not
happen.
yet,
It'll happen.
not
I'm
yet.
committed to that at some point. Whatever I learned that last summer is probably gone at this point. But anyway, yeah. So the interesting thing is my great grandfather came to the U.S. through Ellis Island from Sicily, and when he moved here, he's a piano wire maker. So
Oh,
he
I can talk about that the whole show, but keep going.
yeah. So and he
I mean, how cool is that?
that is very
A
cool.
piano
Yeah,
maker? I
on
mean,
Fifth Avenue in Manhattan,
I
and
mean,
yeah, that was pretty cool. And funny enough, lived just a few blocks from where I live now in Manhattan, which is pretty cool as well. But I found out some of that stuff before I went to Italy. But what I wanted to know was where did he live as a kid? And his wife, my great grandmother, where did she live as a kid? And so while Pisa was the entry point into Italy, the
your Ellie
destination,
Island.
my Ellis Island, yes, the destination was Sicily. And so I'm not going to go through all the whole trip, but I basically literally from Pisa, even from the airport to Pisa, to the town of Pisa, was all train. I took the train
Yep.
from Pisa to Florence, down the coast into Messina in Sicily, and I mean that was like I forget like 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks of hiking and eating and hiking and drinking and hiking and listening to music and hiking, looking at art and history and museums, and it was quite the experience.
Because you
And
could have flown there. You could have just
I could have flown straight to Palermo.
straight to Palermo,
I
and
took
as
a train
many
down.
times we
I
do
wanted
in
to
this.
experience
Right.
because, as you know, probably many people don't. It's similar in many places, right? The culture and the experiences, even the food, in some regions are different than others. So further north, different than in the south. The terrain and the climate and everything is
The food.
very
It's
and
too easy to say Italian food. Now, tell me about that. Like you've
I
been in the
don't know if
north.
I'm versed enough to describe the differences.
Well, but you tasted something.
Good taste.
There's something unique for each region and for each city.
There
Sometimes
is.
from Florence and Siena, you have different sweets. You have different way you even cook something that is the same thing, but you use a different ingredient. So going
Yeah,
from the north to the south, it's a whole different
it
story.
is. So I had a lot of pizza. So the pizzas,
Gelato.
and I literally every place I stopped, I tried the gelato just to see. Um, I'm trying to remember which gelato I liked the best. I want to say, funny enough, in I think the Salerno region, the Salerno area when I was there. Um, pretty good stuff. But yeah, I think like I said, I don't think I can describe the differences of the different regions. You probably could do it better than I can.
Right.
But some of the things I enjoyed were, I mean, the olive oil, uh, heaven. The buffalo mozzarella, heaven.
Ah,
On fresh tomato, I can actually taste the tomato.
dude. So
And, yeah,
one thing that people need to understand is that I wasn't there, but I was getting a lot of messages from you, a lot of signals with photos
Yes.
and I think every day at lunch and dinner you were like, I just went to the mercato, which is the market, and I got some mozzarella and tomato and basil. And I'm like, dude,
You could go to a
and then
fancy
a
restaurant
gelato.
and then get it, but no, I mean, you grab a tomato and a ball of mozzarella
That was
and
your food in Italy.
some basil and olive oil.
Yeah.
It was my staple. Um, I tried limoncello. I tried yeah, lemon. What is it in? Where was it? There's a famous lemon place in along the
Salerno,
coast. No, it's not Salerno.
Sorrento,
Not Sorrento. It's in on the
another
islands.
one.
On
Oh,
the
on
island.
the island.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Capri.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
Capri. Yep. And I stopped in Sapri as well. But I forget what my point was there. Yeah, the lemon sorbet, lemon gelato. Ah,
There you go. And now we're all stuck in the food because with you we always get stuck in the food.
I do get
So
stuck in it.
let's go back to the train experience, and then you
Mm.
went down, right? You were going
So,
closer and closer to the
so the
origin
thing I want
place
to
of
point
your
out with with the train
grandparents.
is from Florence down to uh, the tip of the boot. I'm not trying to remember what the name of that town was. San Giovanni, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, San Giovanni, via San Giovanni. Um, I had a rough idea. I knew I wanted to be in Sicily with enough time to explore my my heritage, but I had no plan. So literally, as I was wrapping up a day, I was figuring out where the train would take me to, and I'd book the accommodations for the next night or two. And so I was just kind of leading myself down. If I felt like staying 3 days someplace, I did. If I didn't want to be there, I left and off I went. So it was very liberating and freeing to just kind of see and explore. And I didn't feel like I didn't get to see anything, and I didn't feel like I stayed too long anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I just did what I want. So the cool thing is the train actually, when you reach the end of the mainland, it it reaches a dock, and the train boards a ferry, and then the
It
ferry
turns
crosses.
into a boat.
It turns
The
into a
train.
boat, and you cross you cross the strait and off into Messina, and the train exits the ferry, and you're now on the train in Messina for like 5 minutes, and then that's it. That's where my train journey stopped. So the train system in the mainland is pretty phenomenal. Bar the strikes that happen every now and then. I got caught up in a few of those, but nothing dramatic.
Wouldn't be Italy if you were not part of the
Exactly.
strike.
Exactly. Yes, I think the the conductors or the engineers conductors didn't have enough espresso, so they were striking.
That
But
was the reason to strike.
I think that was it. That was it.
I can see that. Sure.
Um, yeah, so I did take a train into Palermo, and then from Palermo I got a car and I started to drive around.
What car did you get?
Ah, a little Fiat
A little Cinquecento.
500, and
Yeah.
was it red? No, it was white. I think it was white. I have to remember.
Did you drive it like a madman? Or
You know, I had this feeling that you have to mind yourself a little more in Sicily, being observed and monitored a little bit more in Sicily.
hmm,
Than, I don't know. It's a
could be.
feeling I had. A feeling I had. People can correct me, comment.
Watch the movies. It
Yeah,
feels
there's
like it.
that. There's that. Um, so I mind my p's and q's. Didn't speed, didn't drink and drive. I didn't want to get caught up in anything down there. My goal
No.
was to explore, not sit in a cell. So yeah. So where my great grandfather is from, well, I'll start with my great grandmother because she's from Palermo. And Palermo's pretty big, and so I'm there and enjoying myself. Like I said, there was a festival of roses was on, which is a huge deal. Big parade down the center of town, leading to the beach, and a gigantic fireworks show with music playing in the background. And I met this couple, and they were super super nice. And we connected on Instagram, so we stay in touch on Instagram. Dr. Pino, he's amazing, and his wife, or his girlfriend, I guess, his fiance, and yeah, just lovely people, lovely time. But as I'm there, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here for a reason. So where's where's my great grandmother from? Would it be possible even to find where she lives? And the city's so big, there's not a chance. But what I did do is go into the municipal building, and I sat there for maybe 10 minutes, and the guy said, "Would you need help?" And of course, I don't speak Italian. They're trying to help me in English slash Italian, and eventually they said, "Hold on," and they brought somebody else out, and he brought me into this room where all the records are, birth and death and all of it.
I'm gonna say, just look for it yourself.
He didn't point me in the direction. He
I
said, "Hold
got
on a
no
minute."
time for this shit. You look
That's
it
right.
for yourself.
He was very nice, actually. After, yeah, I wasn't certain if I was going to get helped or not, but you're in this room with hundreds years old record books, and they're just all stacked up, and they're all dusty and tattered, and this picture brown record books. I think I may have taken a picture before they noticed I took a picture, but
Uh oh. Now you're in trouble.
so he he eventually came back and he said, "What are you looking for?" I told him I'd love to have a copy of the birth certificate just to understand, yeah, what that means, who her parents were and whatnot, and date of birth. All what used to have that record. And he said it usually takes a long time, but I'll try to expedite. And he said, "When are you leaving?" I said, "A couple of weeks." He says, "I can't go that fast." So he offered to mail it, and
Hmm.
of course, where's he going to mail that to? So um, you were kind enough to step in and help with that, with the
Yeah.
place to mail.
What's the result of that? We still
So,
haven't got.
so that one I haven't seen. Super super nice guy.
It took a
Try
little
he,
longer
he,
than two
he
weeks.
he was this close to committing to getting it to me in person, but it's been well longer than 2 weeks at this point. Um, I'm just gonna have to go back. Say, hey, dude, what's going on?
It's the excuse to
What's
go
the matter,
back.
you? Huh?
It's the excuse to go back. Go back.
That's right.
Like, remember me, huh? You remember me.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
matter with you?
So so anyway, the commitment was made. I felt pretty good, and it was inspiring just even having that conversation.
To accomplish something.
And I I did what I
Almost.
set out to do. The outcome wasn't exactly the final one yet, but my actions were there to make it happen. But so then the other one, I drove where my great grandfather's from. It's in the middle of it's near the coast ish, maybe 45 minutes inland, but kind of in the middle of Sicily, from west to east, north to south. And so I drive into the town, and there's maybe, I don't know, maybe 500 or 600, probably less, 300 or 400 houses in this little town, the main street. And I thought, I'll find the municipal building. I had good luck with the last one. So
Now, in a town that is, paese that is like 400 people or even 4,000 people, the municipal building usually not that hard to find.
it,
That
it
and the
was not
church,
not hard to
you could
find. It was a few blocks, a few steps from the church. In fact, which I have a story.
exactly.
I have a story about the church, but so we'll stick with this because we're talking about
Yeah,
getting records and
there
stuff
is a good story there. I remember that. That
of the church
some
of
no,
the. Oh no, I'm gonna tell that
the
story.
the
So
bar and
so
something happened.
so I drive around the town. I kind of get a feel for it. I'm like, this is cool. This is where he's from. And then I park and I find the municipal building. And I walk in and I start to interact with them, and they're less prone to speak English there, but still nice enough. Um, During the conversation, though, I get in a very abrupt point to the wall where in Italian and in English, two roughly printed out pieces of paper say, all records have been seized by the police. Do not ask for records of birth certificates. And I was like, that's very strange. And I immediately think of, well, what happened here in Sicily?
Right.
That the police came and confiscated all the records. Um, so I'm standing there. I'm like, I'm all the way here. I can't just accept that. So I'm trying
Right.
in my English and through the app, and I'm saying, is there no other way? And I literally just answered the question or asked the question over and over and over. And another lady then came up and said, How, let me see if I can help you. And long story short there, she said, I will help you. And similar thing, I'll try to find the record and I'll mail it to you. Do you have a place? And that's where you came in as well with your place there. And I left and I felt good. Um, but I felt weird. like I was doing something wrong because I was just subverting the police confiscation of the records. I don't know. It was strange. So I had this strange feeling in it. So I leave, and I wasn't staying in town. I was staying outside of town.
Well, can I tell you something
Yeah,
quickly?
yeah.
So in Italy, there are the rules,
Mm-hmm.
but then there are ways to go around the
Yeah,
rules.
of
It
course.
doesn't mean you break the law. You
I know.
just, you just work it out.
Things get sorted out.
There's
Exactly.
you sort it out. That's what you would say. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah.
That's
So
what happened. So don't feel bad about it.
no, no,
It's
I
very
don't feel
Italian.
bad. It is, but it, there's an inkling of this is strange.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't immediately want to go back and just hang out in the town, which was really a bummer. But anyway, I said, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to go back in. So I went back into town. I said, I'll just sit down. I'll have a coffee and a cornetto. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went to this little bar where they serve the coffee, of course. And uh, the owner wife serves me, and then the owner husband says good morning. And I said, yeah, I'll just sit outside. And then when I went back in, I said, this is really nice. I appreciate it. And he says, you're English or American, whatever. I said, yeah, I'm here. My great grandfather was born. He said, what's the name? I tell him the name. He says, uh, as in, and he mentions the first name. And I said, yeah. And he said, I've married into that family. And I was like, no way. So then he's trying to call people and they're not answering, but um, very inspiring. So now I have this connection to the family. He's not able to reach somebody, but I felt a little better. So now I'm walking around the street and I cross the street and there's this war memorial in the middle of town with maybe 20 names on it, one of which is my great grandfather's. So evidently a well-known, or at least an established person in the community. And I'll quickly go to the church because then there was another moment of amazing feeling where there's only one church in the town, and clearly that's where he would go to church. Um,
Right.
so I'm in there just absorbing that he was there as a kid going to church. So I go back the next day. I think, yeah, I'll go say hi again, have another coffee and a cornetto. And so when I walk in, they're all come in, and they sit down and they said hold on, and they call somebody else, and the somebody else they call it happens to be um, he runs the records department of the municipality. So he said, "Don't worry, I'll get your records for you." And sure enough, we never got the physical one. Those never arrived at your place, but I did receive within before I got home back to the States. I received a copy electronically of those records from him, which is
And the lesson is, it's all about who you know.
who you know and perseverance. And perseverance. Who
Well,
you know, absolutely.
the thing that I like is this.
Hmm.
I like to go places, and not just in Italy, everywhere. I like to travel. You know that. So maybe one day I'll share one of my story. But the
Yeah,
fact that you took the moment and you said, "Well, this is the piazza, this is the church, the chiesa where my grandfather and his family. Maybe this is where he grew up. Maybe this is where he played. I don't know, kick a ball and play soccer with his friend." That's a thing I always think about when I go in this old city, even if I am from Italy, but even if it's somewhere else, I'm like, what was life here?
right.
100 years ago, 50 years ago, 200 years ago. And I think, because you see all this old stuff there, and you think how many people walk on these steps, how many people, live the different life here. So I love that you had that moment and you kind of, in a way, you connected with your
Yeah,
grandfather right
absolutely,
there.
absolutely. Yeah, no question.
It's really cool. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, so that's my random and unscripted story from a random and designed destination, but a random and unscripted journey.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like the ideas that you took your time. You decided how long am I gonna stay here? We'll see. Maybe a day more, maybe a day less. You were there in the summer. I remember it was really hot,
yeah,
but also
made it
that's
easy to
when
pack.
everything happened, right? There was like
Oh, I
different
saw a
events and
festival in
concerts
Lucca.
and
I saw, yeah, the festival in Palermo.
yeah.
Yeah, lots of fun activities all
And
over the.
that's kind of random and unscripted. That's why I
That's what
wanted
it is.
to share this story, because it's you just went with the flow there, and I think that's created a really cool memory in like in your mind, and
Yeah,
something that it's kind of cool to share. And I think that's the lesson here, is that people, when you go to a place, sure, I always see people going with the bus and getting down, get the guide, and
yeah.
go inside the museum, and
Well, I
and then
exit the
get back
bus
on the
and I
bus. And I'm
open.
like, get the side street, right? I mean, like, just walk
Well, here's
and
what I
see
did.
what
Here's
you
what I did.
find.
I exit the train. I find my Airbnb and I open up all trails. Where's the trail? So I hiked the Amalfi Coast. I hiked
Yeah.
Salerno and Capri and Sapri, and it was incredible. Totally unscripted. I follow a trail. If I found food along the way, that's great. If I found limoncello along the way, if I found gelato along the way, perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't have nearly as much wine as I thought, or maybe I should have, but
Well, it's
I
okay.
did. I did enjoy some, but that was really, really, really fun. Yeah, some towns had concerts and art festivals, and yeah, it was yeah pretty spectacular the whole thing.
Well, I think it's the again, the moral of the story here is goes along with the reason why we decided to have this kind of podcast that has nothing to do with what we normally do, and it's called Random and Unscripted. And I felt like that trip that you did was, yeah, you had an objective, but let's face it, I think it was also an excuse to say, yeah, give me a reason, right?
Give
Just
me a
give me
reason.
one reason, and I'll just go ahead and do it. And I love it. And it's funny enough that I was in Italy a few days ago, and I called you right when I was walking to the train station
Right?
to go pick up my wife, that she was in Florence, and I was trying to tell you that, and then in my mind it's like, wait a minute, Sean did this few times, and
That's right. I did
and
that.
had to go
I did
down
that
in
walk a
Florence.
number of times because I was there for a few days. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think
so
that,
I could follow you or describe the road and
right, and
we
that's
talked about the
so
forest and
that's so cool.
the
That
square and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
we need an excuse to go
yeah.
there together, and we may have it
I think there's a good
soon
excuse
enough.
brewing. So
Yeah,
a good
why not?
excuse is
We'll
brewing.
we'll we'll chat about some info security event that is happening in Italy, and unfortunately, I wasn't there. It's in Bologna, and
Yeah.
it's all about reconnecting with
There
all
was
of
one in
that, and
Sardinia that I
in
almost tried to fit
Sardinia.
into this other trip that we just talked about.
Really,
I couldn't get the flights organized, but there was a security event in Sardinia.
I didn't know about that.
I love a wasp.
Another old wasp.
Another
Okay.
one. Sardine.
Well, that again, we just need an excuse. And we definitely don't need excuses to just get together and I'm having a cold brew coffee, and maybe next time we'll do it later in the day. We have a glass of wine as we chat, and the hope is, I'm not answering any questions here. I just hope people would enjoy this side of us, that for once it's not about thinking
Yeah,
about
I
the
don't share
future of
stories like this.
humanity and
So, yeah,
yeah, why not? It's about music. It's about a book that we read. It's about a movie we saw, or anything that kind of like strike an idea for a conversation, which is what we normally do. We're in a car together. We get together, and what we talk about, I don't know. It doesn't have to be special, and it turned out to be special. I mean, for me to hear these stories, I hope people enjoy it, and I'm glad that you get to experience that. And then maybe one day we talk about your grandfather building pianos. You need to research a little bit more
I know.
about that, because
I
I
need to
think
dig in a little more.
that is so cool. That
Yep.
is just so cool.
We
Sean,
knew all that way back. Yep.
random and unscripted.
Random unscripted. There we are. Let's say goodbye to everybody. It's the weekend. Hopefully everybody enjoys the weekend, and stay tuned as we randomly schedule something next. Who knows when that'll be? I'm traveling
Yeah,
next week, so
I know, but I like the idea that we do these on a Friday or Saturday. So if
yeah,
people watch it live, they hopefully spend 30 minutes with us, and if they watch it later, still something that maybe gets your head out of work, and share a little adventure, and maybe get you motivated to do that trip to Italy or South America or
wherever.
North Europe or
Yeah.
Asia, wherever you want to go. Just go
Yep.
if you can. Find the
Right.
time, find a way. Stay tuned, subscribe. This is a new show, so we need you to share it, and we need you to
Yep.
kind of like let other people know about it, because we enjoy doing it no matter what.
Yep.
But if we know that there's people that like it, there is even more excitement for us to get on and keep doing it all the time. So,
Well, thanks for letting me
bye-bye,
share.
take
And
care.
thanks for sharing, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.